Hello, everybody. Welcome to this bonus content section featuring Albanian Helicrisum. There's, of course, a lot of excitement regarding Helicrisum with the launch of the new, now permanent Helicrisum Touch. And we wanted to provide insight into all the amazing work that's happening in Albania with our partners there to bring Helicrisum to life and to also be able to feature it in this new Helicrisum Touch product. But first, let me introduce our partners. We have Emmeline Skora and Lauren Skora coming live from Albania. My name is Tim Valentiner, and I'm the Vice President of Global Strategic Sourcing for doTERRA, and will be your panel today. Emmeline and Lauren, great to see you.
Good to see you too, Tim.
Same here.
Albania has such a rich history. What is so special about how we're sourcing Helicrisum oil there, and also the other essential oils you produce for doTERRA? What's so amazing about Albania?
Albania is a small but amazing country. As you know, you've been here, you've seen it. And it's got beautiful mountains. It's along the coast of the Mediterranean Sea. And the climate we have here provides the perfect climate for a Helicrisum, which is actually a local plant here. So it's been growing here for thousands of years prior to us actually cultivating it.
My visit there was so awesome, and I've been queued up to come back earlier this year, but of course COVID interrupted that, sadly. But very anxious to get back, especially to see all the continued progress that's been going on. Emmeline, maybe tell us a little bit more too about what's amazing about Albania, but also what your family has been doing for many years now.
So we've been distilling Helicrisum for quite many years now, Tim. And what's special about the Helicrisum we distill is that, as Lauren said, this is a wild plant in Albania. And unlike other countries, we have not introduced a different species here, but we have collected Helicrisum seedlings from the wild, plant them in our seedling plots, and from there we have expanded to what now is almost 250 hectares of Helicrisum. It's the climate, it's great. I mean, again, you've seen it. We sit right by the Mediterranean coast. We've got, we're right next to the largest lake in the Balkans, so these two have created this perfect microclimate where Helicrisum grows in a perfect condition.
It is a magical place, for sure. We're excited for everyone, not everyone maybe, but as many as wellness advocates are able to just come and visit on different trips that will be organized. Albania is a magical place in terms of a growing environment, but what makes it so unique in terms of a business model for sourcing and for farming in particular? Maybe can you both tell us a little bit about how farming and essential oil and herb production has been done traditionally in Albania, but then talk to us maybe about how you are doing it differently.
Sure. Well, traditionally, partnering with farmers was really not the method that was used before. Farmers were, when they would partner with other companies, maybe locally or abroad, they would often get taken advantage of, and it was very seasonal, unfair, and perhaps late or even non-existent payments for the herbs that they were providing. And additionally, no technical support, so not really describing how to sustainably grow and take care of a plant once you actually harvest it. And since, like Londi had mentioned, seasonal, that's not a long-term business plan for them. And because of that, it's created a long, unfortunate history for farmers being quite hesitant about how they're able to invest in their own operations and expand their operations, perhaps looking into new plants that they didn't really think of growing prior. And so from the beginning for us as a family-owned and operated business, we wanted the farmers locally that were going to be the basis of how we operate. We wanted them to know that that's not how we operate, and we want to give them an opportunity to grow and expand with us, because we, as partnering with them in this way, it's a completely different system that they haven't seen before. And partnering with doTERRA, I mean, you can speak more about that for sure.
Being able to partner with doTERRA, we've been able to extend the same possibilities to our farmers. If you were to ask a farmer what their most important things are as far as connecting to a business like ours, it would be fair and on-time payments, long-term contracts, and technical support, which we have finally been able to give all three of them to our farmers. Our farmers have 3 to 5 year long-term contracts, a steady price, and the tech support that we give them, it's quite special because we are the ones visiting their fields. We're the ones telling them when to water if they need irrigation, when to cultivate, remove weeds, and other things like that. Obviously, by having doTERRA as our main partner, we've been able to extend to give. I call it immediate payments. There have been occasions that we've given within the first 24 hours. If the herb was perfect, if the oil was perfect, there was no reason for us to delay any payments. So yeah, thanks to doTERRA, we've been able to do these things.
No, I mean it takes a team for sure to make this all happen. But I mean that's really doTERRA's goal in terms of how we manage our sourcing guiding principles is by providing these benefits to our partners are then able to offer those same benefits all the way down to the small farmers where it's obviously most meaningful. It's as Lauren and Emmeline have outlined, when farmers are traditionally growing a crop, they take a risk. They especially if it's an herb crop or an essential oil crop, it's one that they usually can't eat, and so it's a risk that they are planting this, that they hope to be able to sell it, hope to receive a fair price, and hope to get paid in a somewhat timely manner. But our goal altogether is really to try and remove this risk from the farmers and give them the assurance, but the training so that they can be successful, but also have a contract, have a guaranteed buyer, someone that's invested in them so they can be successful. And you guys are doing such an amazing job at implementing that and providing that assurance for these small farmers. Could you maybe give us an example, a real life example of maybe one of these farmers and how this type of payment program and technical assistance and support is benefiting them and their family?
So we have these two brothers, which are in their 20s, and they've been farming for almost 10 years now. Different herbs. Before they contracted with us, they were farming sage, I believe some Melissa as well. And the problem with them and the people or the businesses that they were contracted with for the season was that they never received payments. They are still owed money, actually. And when they first came to me to talk about wanting to farm Helicrisum, it was almost 6 years ago now. And they had they had a lot of land, but they had very little money to invest, and they were not able to plant at all. So what we did for them is that we gave them the first hectare of Helicrisum seedlings. And luckily they were able to do the land work and plant it by themselves. And now they have almost 10 to 15 hectares, I believe, that they're expanding again this winter. So it's probably going to be 15 hectares. They have applied for grants. They now have a tractor, and they got all the mechanical tools that they need to keep expanding and maintain the fields. So it's been great, and it's been amazing, as they say, that we've been able to pay them fair, never deduct anything from their crop, which is a common practice here in Albania from other businesses. They will automatically deduct the 20% the moment you get through their door. So we don't do that, and we will never do that. I don't think that's fair to anyone.
Yeah, it goes to show, it's sadly, for us, this seems to be just very basic humanity of treating people fairly, paying them on time, and building trust, and following through. And I guess it's so sad to see how uncommon that is, and how often farmers are surprised that we're willing to provide that kind of services for them. One aspect of this too is, what does it mean? Maybe for these brothers or for other farmers, what does this mean to be able to stay in the rural areas?
It's huge for them because, speaking as an American living in Albania, I don't necessarily have like a link to land in where I grew up. I have a home, or I had a home with my parents, but it was simply because we had moved to that place and that was our house. Fantastic. However, in Albania, land property rights are extremely complicated because they were all, as you know, they were wiped away during communism, and then people were just given whatever land either they could find or that they were given by the government, and it may not have been where they were to begin with. So can you imagine having your land literally taken out from under you and you told you can't live here anymore, yet your families lived there for generations? And these farmers, thankfully, in the area where we work, they were able to more or less keep the land that they had prior to communism, and it brings them so much pride to be able to invest in their land and invest in their families, because there are many families that have a portion of them that have gone abroad, particularly in this area where we work. There are many that have gone to the UK. And so a lot of remittance payments have been the norm for many people with their income, simply because they were unable to work their land. And so being able to invest and grow and literally work it with their hands on their land and make it beautiful and put money into it and be able to give their families a wonderful life in the place where they grew up and have links and ties. That's huge, and you can get a little emotional even talking about it because it's just really a beautiful thing. And they have stability. They have the long-term contracts that help them see the future. They don't have to constantly focus on moving to the capital city, which is about 2 to 3 hours south, or going to Montenegro, which is just less than an hour north of them. They're not scraping by to make season to season. It's not a seasonal concept for them. The short-term idea doesn't exist for many of our farmers anymore. And that's a wonderful thing that has been able to be provided to them through this partnership. It's really wonderful to see and sit with them and talk about that and share the coffees and share the drinks. That's a good portion of what distilling season is, let's be real. We sit and have a lot of coffees with people, and we're grateful for it, for sure. That's why we have a restaurant and cafe on site, because we love it, and they become like our family a little bit. A lot of them do, because we've seen them from season to season.
No, it's so great. The distillation season is a hectic, very stressful, but also exciting time, because you reconnect with many of the farmers that have been working all year for this day. So it is a time for celebration for sure. Emmeline, you'd mentioned earlier how many farmers you were working with in general, but maybe talk a little bit about how many farmers are you contracted and working with now for Helicrism?
So now we have over 200 farmers small farmers contracted for Helicrisum, and we have over 300 more with the rest of the oils that we distill. It's been great, also a little bit stressful because everybody wants to farm Helicrisum for us. So there's not an hour that we don't receive a message or a phone call, very kind phone calls to people or farmers that want to come visit us and see what they can plant for us. So it's great.
Wait list, yes.
I don't like to call it a wait list, but it has turned into that, unfortunately. These farmers are people that, as you said before, they get stuck unless you're treating them fairly. And when you do that, then they see that this is working, and they all want to do. All want to be part of this great operation that we've done with you guys, us, and the farmers.
Thank you. One thing that's also super exciting is of these 200 Helicrism farmers, the majority of them are actually women. So women own farms and doing most of the work as usual.
Yes, and Lauren always says that it's great because women, and that's true, women in Albania are way better than men as far as doing anything concerned to working, planning, everything else. They do it so much better.
Okay. I hopped in and I helped plant some seedlings just directly in front of our distillery at the beginning of this season, like last year. And I was there and I just, saunter up, like, hey, how's it going? Can I help you? And it was all women. All the women were out working and the man was sitting there eating his lunch. And so I was like, traditional phrase of, hey, enjoy your food. We're just going to get to work here. He's like, okay. I'm like, really? This is how this works? No, men definitely do their fair share of work in other ways. But as far as planting and harvesting, the quality the attention to detail that women have is just a little bit different.
Yes.
The men can do the heavy lifting and sometimes, and the women can too.
Also, most of our contracted farmers are all women.
Yes, that's true.
But for one reason or the other, the head of the farm's operations on each house is a woman. And again, they do it better.
So we've talked a lot about in terms of the farming side and the partnerships there, but maybe talk to us a little bit about how the distillery itself and your operation has been able to expand over the past few years. There's been a lot of activity happening.
Yes. So when Matt came to visit us the very first time, which was the introductory visit, he came to see our only distillery at the time, which is in the capital city of Tirana. It's an old way of distilling. The stills are still very old. We have not upgraded it yet. But ever since that first trip that Matt did, the expansion it's been crazy. We now have a brand new distillery up north with 12 stills, with a increased capacity of 3 tons per day to about 250 tons per day now. So wow. Just by looking at the pictures, you get a wow, and then by looking at it in real life, it's quite amazing.
Absolutely, no, it is exciting. The having been there last year, kind of during the construction phase, the heavy construction phase, it was very exciting then, but now even more amazing seeing the pictures of all the activity that happened during this past harvest season and seeing all the equipment working and trucks rolling in and lots of distillation happening. At the distillery, it's also, there are 3 flags there, an Albanian flag, of course, but also the company flag, but then an American flag. Yes. Because of, as you mentioned, Lauren, you help bring the American roots somewhat to northern Albania. Together, you guys make an amazing team.
Thank you.
In terms of the opening and all the excitement that's been happening there, you had some big visitors come earlier in the season for another crop that you're growing for us there in addition to Helicrism. Maybe tell us who that visitor was and why that was such a big deal, but also why are these government officials coming so important for how it can impact and reach the farmers in the end?
So this was part of the promotion that the Albanian government is trying to do to invite as many EU grants, European Union grants as possible for agriculture. And in order to be able to do that, they have to find businesses that they can show that work is being done, work can be done better, and this is the right way which we can help with our grants, and not just this business, but other agricultural business in the same time. So we get a phone call from the Prime Minister's office saying that we've been selected by the Prime Minister and the Minister of Agriculture for a field visit and a distillery visit, and luckily we were distilling I believe Helycrisum as well. We just started Helycrisum. So it's a bit crazy because when the Prime Minister comes in, there's about 3 days ahead with police, army, and everything else that have to check and make sure that the detail service can do their job. And they arrived at 9 in the morning. First, we started going to the fields. They had brought cameras, drones, people interviewing left and right. Farmers were being interviewed. Farmers were being filmed while they were harvesting. It was a great afternoon. And then after that, they made it to the distillery, where we had invited about 200-300 farmers. The Minister of Agriculture and his assistant had a speech about the opening of the EU grants and how this company has made it possible for them to upgrade their status, ask for more money, receive more money, and ultimately distribute more money to the farmers.
May I add one thing, though? To be very clear, we have never been linked to any government grants. So
Yes.
we never. The fact that they were visiting was to simply use the distillery as an example to show mechanization and all of these wonderful things, simply to promote, like he's saying.
Right.
But they weren't coming because, hey, we gave you this, so you need to show us what we've done,
Right.
kind of thing. So I just wanted to be very straightforward about
Right.
that, because a lot of farmers were like, why are they here? Oh, they gave them all kinds of money? Nope,
Right.
not at all. We're working simply with our partnership, and that's it. We're making
Right.
it happen.
It's well, what came out of it is that now, and this is really cool, all the farmers that have a contract with us are able to apply for EU grants. They don't have to open a small business. They don't have to present all kinds of documents that are requested usually by the EU grants. Now, a contract with us, a long-term contract, a fixed price that we give them is more than enough for them to apply for a small tractor or other mechanical tools that they may need throughout the year. So, and we are the only business that they have approved to show a contract for a farmer. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, very exciting. I mean, it goes to show all the hard work that you have put in with your family to build this, and all the networks of farmers that are benefiting. But it's exciting to see it being recognized and viewed as really a model operation, and something all the way to the Prime Minister's office wanting to come and feature and highlight. And
Yeah.
Lauren, like you said, probably taking more credit than they probably deserve, but
That's not exactly what I meant, but
That's
it's the
okay.
same kind of thing.
The deputy minister actually tried one of our harvests. He wanted to harvest the plant, so we have this shot of him
Yes.
telling everyone what to do because,
Well, and I think I had sent you the video, Tim, with the translation. He had said himself, the Ministry of Agriculture, he was like, this is the only machine doing this in this region. I mean, we're in a huge agricultural zone, and farmers, I mean, sustenance farming is quite common, but if you have medicinal herbs, I mean, that means if there's only one machine that we are using and operating, everything else is harvested by hand. And just by having one machine for one particular farmer can help lower their costs. It can help them, just that initial outlay of the expense for that machine can have such huge long-term effects for them to have those long-term contracts and to be able to quickly harvest, to do all of those things and diversify a little bit that they couldn't even imagine before. I mean, these grants are huge for them, but I mean, the collateral of having the contract with this company is just, it's a huge game changer for these farmers. They can actually expand. They can actually mechanize themselves. Like it's amazing.
they can just increase productivity, but it also allows them to make use of their land, which they may not have been able to before.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, it's amazing. No, it was very exciting to see that the videos of the Prime Minister and the Ministry of Agriculture.
Hey, we were the most viewed video.
Facebook went crazy. We broke the internet.
I saw a report recently that they posted that video on their website, the Prime Minister's office website, and it's still the most viewed video ever on their website.
Yeah. What's funny, we had I guess one of our neighbors to the distillery, he lives in Italy, but he saw the video and he sent me a private message. He goes, I don't live there anymore. I have a lot of land that's just is empty. Would you please rent the land and farm it for us?
More contacts.
Sure.
Like you mentioned, Emmeline, the most exciting thing about this is what it opens up for farmers, and that they are able to organize themselves, but also access grants and programs that already exist, but just might have different red tape or other types of barriers for them to being able to access it. But through the partnership, through having a contract, through having fair and on-time payments, all the principles that we try to implement, but on top of all of your hard work of building the distillery, making these relationships happen with the government officials, it ultimately benefits the farmers and these families, which is their dream of trying to make use of their land, be able to be proud of what they're farming, and have and then have the support that they need to be able to do it successfully. So thank you so much for your time. We're interrupting your vacation after the hard work leading up to the harvest, the Helicrisum harvest, having finished about a month ago, or I guess just a few weeks ago, but also more crops to be harvested this fall. We get that time is precious. So thank you for taking some time to give us some more background into all the labor and love and work that goes into producing Helicrisum for us. We're so excited to have Helicrisum, our single Helicrisum, but also now the Helicrisum Touch, to make it just more accessible to, but also have different applications and uses for all of our customers. So, and the Albanian Helicrisum you produce is such a key part of both of those products for us. So thank you very much, and get some rest, and keep busy when you get back to the distillery. There's a lot happening. So, and like I mentioned, we're hopeful for groups from Europe, but also globally, to come and see the distillery and the operation there as soon as we're able to all travel again.
That would be great.
Thank you, Emmeline. Thank you, Lauren. You're amazing. Thanks for all you do with us, and looking forward to hopefully seeing you soon in person once that can happen.
Yes, for sure.
Thanks so much. Please tell the team thank you, and all the best.